Hi, everyone, and welcome back for episode 30 of the Simply Whelmed podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we have got the show for you. And this week,
you're getting good at that.
What's that?
You're getting real good at that.
Oh, baby, I've got it. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got it written down. I like to read it. But I mean, I know it, but I also have it written down so that way I can... I would hate to think that I fumble over it and then go, motherfucker! And I start over.
Yeah, no, I don't have any of mine written down. I just know it. Like the back of my hand. Yeah,
but I feel like there's an expectation that if you fumble something, like it's just content, but if I fumble it, I'll take it, like, to my heart.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's more my own things than, like, anything to do with you. You know what I mean?
What, do you expect me to fumble it?
No, huh?
Because I do.
If you did, you expect yourself to fumble.
Big time. Oh, big time.
You're always like, okay, don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I would... Because I'm the type that would take... if I didn't have it written down, I would do about 6 takes of it before I felt good about it. Whereas here, it's like, I'm just reading aloud. I got through those lines. Next bit, you know what I mean?
For like the past 2 episodes, I've just been doing, Peter Piper eats a pepper. Peter, doing warm-ups so I don't fumble as bad as I have.
Red leather, yellow leather. All right. Yeah, no, that's a good... Yeah, you got to do the... What's the... From the fucking... the outtakes of Anchorman 2. Where he's like, they're coming in the back door! Grab the children! Save the children! That's his vocal warm-up. No, we were inspired by Barbarian to venture back to the theater, and we saw Don't Worry, Darling this week. In fact, we saw it today. As of recording, we were like less than 6 hours from our vaguely romantic like Monday afternoon matinee. It was like us and 5 other people in the theater?
Not even, dude.
It was because it was 2 people down in front, a solo in front of us,
2 people behind us.
That's
I guess
people.
that's 5. Yeah, man. All right.
Math.
Call me a fool.
Out on that. Yeah, you're a fucking fool. Sorry, no, you're all right. But no, we are fairly certain that we looked like a couple in a good way. I mean, I'm not bothered by it, but I was like, man, we really didn't take many steps to avoid the judgment,
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. Yeah, I got my vest on. You got your your mid-thigh shorts.
Hey, man, they're comfy, bro. Yeah, they're comfy.
And again, it's like a more affluent neighborhood, and it's 2:30 in the afternoon on a Monday, and we're seeing Don't Worry, Darling.
It's just, who cares? My wife.
My wife. Yeah, everybody's going to be like, hey, I saw your husband out, I think with his boyfriend. She's like, that's just Chris.
No. Yeah, you know what it is, baby.
And you know what? I would be proud to be your husband.
You're goddamn right. I'm a catch. Right. I'm a fucking catch.
You're a catch. But now, we flip things on its head, and Chris actually picked out the news articles for the week. I still wrote them up, and I'm going to present the news. But he chose the articles I talked about this week. So
I'm trying to go for something more where I don't just go.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to find a happy medium where maybe you pick like 3 articles and then I pick 3. But I still do the write-ups on all of them because I do also like. Well, no, it's not that. I like being able to surprise you with news as well.
Clip it right here. Set it right here.
You'll only hear a denial. Run it back. But no, I mean, I do. I like being able to bring you news that's news to you,
Yeah.
So I do think we need to find a mix. I didn't mind having
a genuine reaction
selected for me. Yeah, exactly. Raw, unadulterated.
I mean, I just sent them to you. You have no idea what I'm going to say.
It's true. No, so yeah, he sent me through the fact that Avatar is leading the box office weekend. The new Final Destination has its directors. The Shining sequel, that didn't happen, right? There's an actual sequel to Cloverfield that's in development. Cyberpunk 2077 might be good now. And The Last of Us got its fucking teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, it did.
Like, today.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So, we got a lot to talk about. and then obviously we're going to get into Don't Worry, Darling, and our thoughts on that. So if you're ready, we'll just jump into it.
I think we should, yeah, let's dive.
Yeah, let's jump in. All right, so starting at the top. From IGN, Avatar has been re-released in theaters in an attempt to generate revenue and reignite some interest in, the long-dormant property that is Avatar, right? And the movie actually has been met with some heavy criticism, honestly, as the movie had been taken down from Disney Plus ahead of the re-release, basically forcing people who want a refresher to go pay for the movie again more than 10 years after its original release, which seems kind of shitty. But it paid off because the James Cameron FX fest that is Avatar topped the weekend box office with over $20.5 million domestically.
Putting it back on top.
Well, it's been on top.
That's right. That's right.
But it's also had multiple re-releases, so I think that kind of is cheating.
Yeah.
If you want to talk OG run, it is in fact Endgame. In fact, this came in ahead of this week's topic film, Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah.
So, that's all I had. I don't have any thoughts other than I think it's kind of shady and shitty that they took it off of streaming to re-release it to kind of force money into the film's hand.
No, fuck it. It's been out for 10 years, right? And when it came out, people were buying DVDs left and right. So if you don't have that on DVD and you're solely like, well, I wanted to watch it on Disney Plus, it's 10 years. Just go see it again. Go back to the theater. That's what this all comes back to. People just need to go back to the theaters.
They could go back to the theater and see an original film, like The Woman King or Don't Worry, Darling, as opposed to giving a billionaire more money for a project 10 years old that's taken them that long to develop one sequel to it.
You bring a good point, but I'm not going to admit
it. I know you won't. Because you're stubborn, and for some reason you've decided Avatar is your hill to die on. I think there are far greater, more beautiful hills, but...
But by golly, it's my hill.
Yeah, exactly. You do you, baby. Whatever feels right.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
It's honest work. All right, so the Hollywood Reporter brought this exclusive story to light, right? And we will rehash it here. So Final Destination 6, obviously, is a return to the horror franchise that kind of created my paranoia about, large objects on flatbeds on freeways. I think it was Final Destination 2 where the fucking logs bounce down the freeway. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ever since then, if I see, anything, like a wide load coming through, I'm like,
you make sure you get in front. Yeah, you get in front.
You're fuck, I gotta get around this thing. Pardon me, I was taking a sip of medical-themed nondescript cola. It was Dr. Pepper, but they're not sponsoring.
Yeah. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. No, so this film is being written by Guy Busick and Laurie Taylor Evans, which are the duo who have written the recent Scream revival, which did very well. Okay. So that kind of promise, right? As well as, let's see, the Spider-Man Helmer, John Watts, wrote the original treatment, basically, before the final drafts of the script. So he kind of wrote the pitch, basically, for what this relaunch would be. And let's see here. Apparently, the search for a director took, the bulk of the year, with more than 200 candidates being brought forward for the job.
Holy shit.
I know. And I was reading about it. Apparently, it's the third largest horror franchise for New Line Cinema, behind the Conjuring franchise, which I think is kind of cheating, considering there's 19 films that are Conjuring adjacent.
Yeah.
La Llorona is technically
Isn't
a
Annabelle
Conjuring
one
film.
too?
Annabelle Returns, The Nun 2. Yeah. There's a shit ton of Conjuring films, but I digress. So that's number one with over $2 billion coming to New Line Cinema, and then over $1 billion for the It franchise, and then now this has about $700 million over the course of 5 films, with obviously this being a return after about 10 years. I think they said 2011 was the Final Destination. So they did find a duo finally, Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein, to do the directing. And they won out after an over-the-top Zoom call with executives. So apparently the duo appeared on camera with a lit fireplace as their backdrop. And as the call was coming to an end, the fire behind them kind of grew out of control, and they were forced to jump into action and kind of banish the flames with water and an extinguisher, and it's real dramatic and scary. And they kind of come back and say, oh man, Jesus, I can't believe. And everybody's like, oh my God. The executives on the call were like, Jesus, I can't believe that happened. Oh my God, I'm glad you guys are okay. And then the ceiling fan above and behind them falls out of the ceiling and flies out of control and spins through and decapitates one of the directors. And it's obviously fake. It didn't happen, like for real. And it was a nod to the franchise being, they escaped death from the fire, but then death comes back and gets them with the ceiling fan, And that it was a combination of VFX and pre-recorded footage, and it like really wowed and amused the production team enough that they were hired. Apparently, the executives like burst into laughter and applause, and like, it's dedication and it's kind of funny and all that,
No,
yeah. And I mean, hopefully, that shows dedication.
That's what
I
I
hope
was
that
gonna
they
say.
bring that to the, it is a 10-year-old since the last attempt at it, and there is some originality to the idea, and I think maybe with it being, I don't want to say stale, but it's been gone long enough that potentially it could be, a little bit refreshing to see something like that again.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I remember watching those way too young, and they gave me nightmares for a long time.
Yeah.
But so like when I saw that, and then I saw like the directors, they got hired because they basically just fucking faked their death on a Zoom call, and I just thought that was the funniest shit. And I was like, dude, that makes me excited for it, because that means it's like, oh, they're putting thought and like hardcore sweat and tears in this. They're really going for it, and that gives me high hopes for it.
Yeah, it shows passion and dedication that hopefully will follow them. And then again, you've got a good writing staff with, the people that did, understand, an old horror series like Scream, and successfully bringing that back and making it modern. Hopefully they can do the same with this. And then obviously John Watts, who's been very successful with large dollar figure franchises like Spider-Man, hopefully he put something forward that they had a lot of something to chew on, And
I can't see why they wouldn't be able to either.
Yeah.
Like, create new ones. I mean, technology's advancing, toy on technology, anything like that,
Mm-hmm. Let's see. This one comes to us from IGN again. Mike Flanagan took to Twitter this week to lament his Shining sequel that never got off the ground at Warner Brothers. So there was a fan-made poster that was tweeted out, and he commented below it saying, quote, "We were so close, I'll always regret that this didn't happen." And a fan kind of replied to him, was like, well, what happened? Why didn't we get it? We'd love to see that. We love you, whatever, right? And he said, because of Dr. Sleep's box office, that performance, Warner Brothers opted not to proceed with it. They control the rights, so that was that. Now, Flanagan, I don't know if you've watched any of his series on Netflix, but so he actually wrote the script for Dr. Sleep, which was the, unofficial. So it's like a weird...
Yeah.
It's like a sequel to the book, because it is a sequel book. But so it kind of tried to be a sequel to both the book as well as a sequel to the film, because apparently the film is kind of divisive as far as like Stephen King himself doesn't like the film because he doesn't think it's very true to the book. But obviously the film itself
I fucking love the film.
Yeah. Overall, the film is like renowned. It's like, oh my God, that's the Shining.
That's a classic. Yeah, it's a classic
film. And so they had to kind of, with Dr. Sleep, try and find a middle ground where it can satisfy both readers of the book and fans of the original film. And so I don't know where this would-be sequel from Flanagan would have laid. Would it have been just a direct sequel to the original film? Ignoring influence from the book? Or what? I'm not sure, But either way, it just didn't happen because Dr. Sleep underperformed. It made about $70 million on like an almost $50 million budget. And like I always say, you kind of have to double the budget to account for marketing. And so it probably didn't break even, unfortunately. Because it's actually a decent movie, Dr. Sleep.
You know what?
What?
I'm taking the shoes off. The dogs are coming out for what I gotta say.
I just took a shit. I'm ready to take a foot race. Like,
dude. And we kind of talked about it. I don't know. When I read it, when I first saw it, my first initial thought was like, honestly, I'm not mad because...
You're talking about Dr. Sleep?
No, the sequel that never happened.
I gotcha. Okay.
I'm not mad. Now, if it's a good movie, then sure. Like, I'll bite my tongue and I'll redact what I say. But like, I feel like that's all we're getting now is like sequels, and then we're getting like biographies of people, like and so it's like I don't know, something like Final Destination's a little different because there's no specific storyline.
Right.
It's just a bunch of people dying. That's the whole premise.
Yeah, right. They avoid death, and then death comes back to get them. Like,
right. And so
in creative ways.
You can kind of toy around and take that wherever. But I don't know, like what's the
Final Destination
Amsterdam?
In feudal Japan.
No. That new movie that's coming out, is it Amsterdam?
Yes, with
Christian Bale,
John David Washington, and Margot Robbie, and it's got all kinds of people. It's got Taylor Swift in it.
Yeah. But like something like that, like I don't know, like I've never seen that, and I think it looks really interesting. It's got Chris Rock in it.
Yeah.
So like something like
Bobby
that.
De Niro.
Mm-hmm. So something like that, sounds new and fresh, and it really caught my eye. But seeing all these like sequels, they just don't catch my eye anymore. I don't know.
Let me hit you with a fucking curveball here, though. Mike Flanagan does phenomenal horror. Like, did you watch Haunting of Hill House?
No, I don't believe I have.
You got to check it out. It's a miniseries on Netflix, and it's very good, very spooky. It has a somewhat sequel. Excuse me. It's more like anthology than direct sequel. So it's called The Haunting of Bly Manor, I think. And I didn't think it was as good, but it's still decent. But then I think his best work so far on Netflix was Midnight Mass, which Morgan and I binged in like a day or two for our first anniversary weekend. We ate just Japanese food that we brought in and just laid in our underwear and watched all like 6 or 8 episodes of Midnight Mass. And it's so good, very incredible. I think you should definitely check that out. And he's got a new one coming out called The Midnight Man, maybe?
I'll tell you what.
Tell me.
One of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
There's got to be
The Midnight Club, I apologize.
House of Wax.
Yeah?
No.
With Nicole Kidman?
No.
Is it Nicole Kidman?
I think so. Movie's
you know how I feel about Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, you fucking hate that bitch.
And I don't even hate her. I didn't hate her until the goddamn fucking ad that isn't an ad.
Bro, whenever we're at the movies, you're white knuckling on your seat and you're just fucking muttering under your breath.
No, so House of Wax is not the one with her in it. It's got fucking Paris Hilton in it. Oh man, what's the fucking... Oh god, that's gonna... And watch it not even be Nicole Kidman. I can't think of what the other actress is that's very Nicole Kidman adjacent. Bear with me. You keep talking.
No, I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of good scary movies, but I will say, I think it was, and again, it might have been, I was a little, not young, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little baby. But I think it was the Sinister.
Little piss boy.
A little piss boy. I think it was Sinister.
That's a very spooky movie, yeah, with fucking Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, dude.
And Bagul. Yeah.
And the dad's going through like basically
Naomi Watts is the other actress.
Naomi Watts.
That is Nicole Kidman adjacent.
No, but like, and you hear what's that one song? Tiptoe through the window, and like the guys, like sharpening a knife, and then like it just cuts and it's the devil looking at dude. For whatever reason, that scared the shit out of me, and I couldn't. Yeah. I had to pause it. I had to walk away for a minute. I gotta cool off. I'm sweating. Yeah. I gotta turn on a light or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that movie scared the shit. I watched it with like a friend of my sister's after everybody had fallen. Like, I was the annoying little brother. Full disclosure, my sister's about 5 to 6 years older than me. And I was the annoying little brother at like sleepovers and stuff where I wanted to hang out. You know what I mean? Like, why do I have to fucking hide in my room while, 3 or 4 girls just sit in the living room and bullshit, So I hung out and I watched scary movies that like I probably shouldn't have been. But then Sinister...
but you can hang. You can hang, so you didn't pitch out.
But no, Sinister, I'm thinking I would have been... Yeah, 2012, so I would have been okay. then. Like, that one wasn't like, oh, fuck. Like, I wasn't like a 10-year-old like you would have been.
Yep.
But no, so yeah, I watched that one with just one of the friends after everybody else had fallen asleep. And like her and I both were like, fuck this noise. It's like 3 a.m. Everybody's asleep. It's just her and I. And I'm like sitting, it's in my mom's living room, and I'm sitting in a fucking recliner with my back to like an open kitchen, you know? My mom's kind of got like an open floor plan. And I'm definitely doing like the peeking over the back of the chair every so often. Like, ooh, I don't know about all this, you know? But yeah, no, that Sinister is very good. Very spooky.
Yeah, that one's up there though for top scary movies to me.
Yeah, I think it had a sequel that was not as good. But yeah, Sinister, definitely Barbarian's up there now. The Grudge always holds a place for me.
Barbarian was good. But it also brings up how I want to go see Pray for the Devil. We'll touch back on that. We'll touch back on that.
We'll do what I fucking say. I couldn't even keep it a straight face. No, speaking of like long dormant franchises, Variety.
I got a long dormant.
Chill out with that. Variety brings us news of a Cloverfield sequel. So this was kind of announced and then dropped about like a year or two ago by J.J. Abrams at like a con of some kind. Where he was like, yeah, no, we're definitely doing an actual Cloverfield sequel, and everybody's like, huh? And then like just and then just nothing came of it. And then now all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the by, here's a fucking director. And like, so the project's got a director in a gentleman named, I'm going to butcher his name, Babak Anvari. And what's that now?
It's just,
what are you laughing at?
It's just John Smith. You're like,
yeah, I'm going to butcher this name. Jacob Smythe? You know?
Jacob Smith.
Jacob Smith? I don't think so. But no, yeah, no, the guy's name is, I believe it's Babak Anvari. And I was looking at his filmography, and like the one that they kind of quoted in the article was Wound, which had Armie Hammer in it. It was from like 2018 or 2019, so it was before everybody found out that he was a freak. But I didn't recognize anything from this guy's filmography, so he's kind of an up-and-comer, which is fine. I mean, there's a lot of directors that kind of get that treatment of like, yeah, they make one small movie that does well enough, and now all of a sudden they're getting a franchise film, you know?
Which I'm cool with, man. I mean, yeah, I'm cool with, man. Let them do it, you know? Like, give them opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, you figure Avengers Endgame, you know, was directed by people that were primarily TV directors, and then all of a sudden they're making for a short bit, the longest or the highest grossing film of all time. But, yeah, so the film's being produced by J.J. Abrams, who's obviously been a part of the series since, like, 2007 when the first came out. I think, 2007 or 2009? I think it's January 2009.
Yeah.
2008. I was right in the fucking sweet spot. Man. So I've got a lot of history with Cloverfield. But, let me finish this off right quick. Fucking Matt Reeves is one of the executive producers. And I don't know if you know this, but Matt Reeves is who gave us The Batman and goddamn Dawn of the Apes, you know, Dawn of the War of the Planet of the Apes, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Trilogy, which I think is one of the best, like, modern action movie trilogies.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to sit down and rewatch all of those. I haven't seen them in forever.
And then Joe Barton, who wrote the script for The Ritual on Netflix, which was directed by Andy Serkis, I believe.
I love that movie.
Yeah, where they're just like, it's a couple of Brits
they're camping.
Taking a hike out in the woods.
Because their buddy
one of them hurts a leg.
Dude, yeah.
And it just, for some reason,
welcome back
leans into just gas. Yeah, The Ritual, gas. But no, the guy that wrote that script is writing the script for this. So
Good.
Yeah, hopefully that's a good sign.
Dude, The Ritual was scary as fuck when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And it did a good job at keeping it creepy.
Yeah, it's not like overtly. It kind of ramps up very quickly towards the end.
Yeah, but
not in a bad way.
No, but I think the beginning, for me, if something's super creepy, if something's super creepy, then in my opinion, I think sometimes that can be scarier than like a really good jump scare, if that makes
Right.
any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, letting you scare yourself is a good tactic.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about Cloverfield here. So obviously, Cloverfield was a found footage horror movie from 2008. I say horror movie. It's more monster movie than horror movie. But I fucking ate that shit up as a kid. But also, I did with a fucking spoon.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it had like one of the most famous ARGs. So where it's basically a viral marketing campaign of like putting actual like Facebook pages together for characters of the movie and whole websites dedicated to fake companies that exist within the movie and like all this background information that gives you this much broader story of like what's potentially going on with the monster and things like that. That if you watch the movie, you don't get any of it, which I think is kind of a good and bad.
Yeah.
Where it's rewarding for the people that dive into it, but then, you kind of miss out on it if you didn't dive into it,
Yeah, yeah.
But then, 10 Cloverfield Lane was kind of announced like a month before release, and it was a repurposing of an old script called The Cellar, I believe. And I mean, it was a good movie. It was directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did Prey recently, and both movies were phenomenal. But then, fucking The Cloverfield Paradox.
Dude.
Oh, what a stinker.
You didn't like it?
Dude! Cloverfield Paradox was dog shit.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Cocaine?
I didn't like the ending, I mean, for sure. But I didn't think it was that bad. I thought the concept behind it was pretty interesting.
Dog ass. Say it with me, everybody. Dog ass. Let me just pull it on. I think I am not in the minority. I'll tell you that. Let's find out.
Yeah. Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, let's see here. We'll go to Rotten Tomatoes. We'll do the trifecta like I always do for the movies that we see. Let's see. Cloverfield Paradox. All right, let's see. Cloverfield Paradox has a shockingly low 22% from the critics and a 42% from the audience.
All right.
And then let's see on IMDb here.
I think you made your point.
I just want to see. The Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
The Cloverfield Paradox has a 5 out of 10. Metacritic.
You made your point. You made your point.
Cloverfield Paradox. Boof! Has a 37. Yeah. I think you are in the minority, my good sir.
Alright, that's fine, whatever.
Doesn't mean you're wrong, it is opinion-based, but the majority opinion is this movie sucks donkey dicks. And,
I'm not saying it's an Oscar-winning movie, I just don't think it's...
Oh, no, it is not.
I just don't think it's, like, the worst movie I've ever seen.
I think it has some things going against it. First of all, the trailer that they showed... So, I don't know if you remember this, but they fucking showed the trailer at halftime for the Super Bowl and said, like, available after the game on Netflix. And it was like, no fucking... Like, that was the announcement trailer. It was like, hey, after the game, go watch the next Cloverfield movie. And the trailer didn't really show too much of the space stuff. Really emphasized some of the Earth stuff. And definitely used some deceptive marketing as far as, like, taking sound bites from the original movie and things like that to make it sound like, oh shit, the Cloverfield monster is in this movie, which it technically is. And so, oh my god, it's an actual sequel to Cloverfield. Holy fuck, I gotta watch this. And then for it to be not even a good sci-fi movie without the Cloverfield name on it, but to then be, like, insulted that at the end they were like, here's a poorly animated, way too large Cloverfield monster that screams for, like, 0.5 seconds and then the movie's over. And I looked at Morgan, we were just dating at the time, and I went, I fucking hated that. Because I was super jacked, and she was just like, I'm sorry. You know? She didn't know. She was like, do I comfort him? What do I do? But, so I'm really hoping that with this one being... There's no confirmation, but it sounds like it's expected to be a direct sequel. With them, like, writing a script from the ground up to be a Cloverfield movie. Mm-hmm. I really hope it really comes together, because...
Do you think they'll get T.J. Miller back in it?
I don't know, man. He's been in quite a bit of hot water.
Oh, really? For what?
Some Me Too stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. I was very surprised that he was in Deadpool 2, actually. Because I think it was about that time.
Yikers.
Yikers! Oh, plus TJ Miller got bitten in half.
What? I thought we'd hear his voice at the end.
No. No, you hear the main characters. Like the main guy on camera, not the main guy behind the camera. Where they're hiding under the bridge as the nukes come in.
Yeah.
Or the bombs come in. Yeah, that's not TJ Miller.
Alright.
Yeah, TJ Miller gets bitten in half where they're like, Hud! I think his name's Hutch or Hud, something like that. They're like, get the fuck out of there! And he looks up and the monster's just standing over him and just leans down and snacks him in half.
I remember I was way too fucking young to see. I was really young to see that movie. And the scene
in the fucking subway?
Yeah, that's the part that fucking... I was so scared of the dark for the longest time because of that.
Yeah, fucking, like, the ticks, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The parasites that are falling off the monster's back. Yeah.
And then, wouldn't they make you
she fucking explodes? Yeah. But yeah, no, if you haven't checked out, like, look up YouTube videos and shit about the original Cloverfield ARG. It's actually some fascinating shit. And, it's just really cool. And I hope that maybe they'll do something like that again. And give it proper effort. Because both, I think 10 Cloverfield Lane had, like, kind of a halfway attempted ARG. That wasn't bad, but wasn't nearly as involved as the original. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that Paradox really had one at all.
I think if they were to try it again, doing like an ARG, it would be hard. I ain't gonna lie, but if it hit and it went viral, I bet that would be so fucking good.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get things going viral on the internet nowadays. I mean, because it's viral for like one day.
And it's hard
to
like
on. But something like this sounds like
virality online anymore.
Yeah.
Like you don't you're almost asking to get mocked by the internet when you attempt to be viral as a large company.
Yeah. Or especially like with it being such a it's not just like something that it just needs to be this video. Like the consistency that has to go viral for each one that they make. That's where it's
here's
gonna
a
get
website
really
and here's emails and all that. Yeah, it's gotta be top down, it's gotta be bulletproof. But I don't know. We'll see. Last story before our main event story of the news. So IGN has I said that after a very rocky launch and kind of a fall from like the peaks of Hype Mountain, Cyberpunk 2077 is actually having a little bit of a resurgence following a recent patch, and obviously it's had quite a few updates, but the most recent patch added some stuff from the Netflix anime series Edgerunners, which is also apparently very good, and so that's kind of drawn people in where they're like, all right, well, I could go back to that. I want to give it another try. I've heard it's got updates and things like that, and apparently the quote from them was that across all platforms, like 1 million people visited Night City was how they phrased it. So 1 million people played the game daily over the course of a week. I think it was last week. And that's pretty decent for a game that was not, I repeat, not getting played. I think on the computer in January of 2021 on Steam it was like 80,000 concurrent players.
Uh-huh.
Which is not
a lot.
Not a lot. Yeah. And so,
I started it, and very recently. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a
I started it when it first came out.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to give it a poke, because, I don't know, I just wanted to play. I wanted to give it a whack. I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
And I had low standards. And, some of it's cool. I think the firefights are good.
Uh-huh.
That's no problem. I think, that's pretty alright. Cool. I even think the story is not bad. Well, at least the one I'm playing of the street was a street kid.
Yeah, well, so I'll give you a little clue. That the story you're playing is the story that anybody plays. So all Street Kid does is change your first mission, or not even the first mission really, but how when you're the Street Kid, I think I forget how you get to meet Jackie at the bar, but. Basically, the setup for what gets you to meeting Jackie is the only thing that changes.
Oh, so the rest is the same?
Yeah, and then there's like that cutscene with Jackie where it's like, oh, and then now you're friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that cutscene plays for everybody and gets you to the same starting point basically for everybody. So yeah, Street Kid kind of gives you like some different dialogue options and things like that. Same with the the corporate and all that, the different paths, but it really doesn't change much, which was one of my main criticisms. Was the way they marketed it was like 3 totally different paths, and it's not.
So but anyways, the story's not bad. I don't think. For my character, like it makes sense. I'm following it pretty easy, and I even made the note to talk about how like I enjoyed because I do like to brawl with my hands. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And
in game.
In game.
Just doing fucking bare knuckle boxing matches.
But there's like a little side quest you can do where that's what you do is you box.
Yeah.
And like I wanna go back and I wanna play that, but like the city looks cool, but I don't know. It was a little let down from just what I saw. I was expecting more neon signs, more color.
Right.
It looks pretty dull.
Right.
Just I don't know, and I just wasn't blown away by the graphics, and it's just kind of like,
yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
For a game, because that's the thing is like not all games have to have perfect graphics in order for it to be good, but that was one of the biggest things that they were trying to hype up.
Right, especially in like the early gameplay trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
where it was like, here's a 30-minute like we're gonna play through this mission, and you're like, holy fuck, like that's intense to do a whole mission and just show it, and the graphics were really cool, and then it just wasn't that. It definitely downgraded. Yeah. But CD Projekt Red, the developers, announced that like their first DLC, where they finally got the game to a point now where they're like, okay, that's the base game done, basically. And now we're working on DLC. And so the first DLC is called Phantom Liberty. And they've also said that the most recent update, the 1.6 patch, is the final update for the PS4 and Xbox One versions, with all focus now being placed on this generation of consoles and the future, And so I think that's also going to help, because now it's not... I do think it fell victim to like being developed cross-generationally, where it's like, well, a game that has to work... If they'd have made it just for PS5 and Xbox Series X, the graphics might potentially have been better, Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But, yeah. That's all I got on that.
Still waiting for the day before. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Got my hopes up, baby.
Well,
I see more stuff about it. I see more stuff about it every day. I saw something on Twitter that it said, like, it's one of the most highly anticipated games. Like, it's starting to really get traction. And they started just showing more footage for it. And I'm just, I'm creaming.
I want to critique you. The TikTok you sent me today of it, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember. I sent you like a week ago.
What?
Yeah. And then because it was funny, when I opened it up, it was already liked, because I had liked it and sent it to you.
Uh-huh.
I was like, you son of a bitch, didn't even watch it.
I probably did, and I saw it again. I was like, oh!
Oh, what? Yeah, it was like seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. What? Then I did see something on Twitter about it, though. But,
yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm excited. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting patiently.
All right. The one I'm most excited to talk about. Fucking today is Outbreak Day in The Last of Us lore, right? So today is the day, September 26th, that the Outbreak started.
Okay.
And so in honor of Outbreak Day, or The Last of Us Day, or whatever you want to call it, they fucking dropped about a minute and a half teaser trailer for HBO's The Last of Us series. That shit looks hot!
Yeah. It looked real fucking good.
Like, welcome back to Gas or Pass.
Yes.
The Last of Us.
Yes.
Fucking gasoline, baby.
Diesel.
Dame más gasolina. Yeah, no, that shit looks phenomenal. Like, the attention to detail as far as, like, loyalty, I suppose, to the source is so
really good. Everything looks really, really, close to, like, damn, this is just, the cutscene from the game.
Yeah, which I
been
worry
real.
about a little bit. Like, I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm like, oh man, like, is it going to be a case of, well, I could have just played the game? You know what I mean? I don't think so, but I do worry about if they stay too close to the game, as far as like not adding anything, then it's like, well, I could just look up one of those videos on YouTube that's like, The Last of Us, the movie, all the cutscenes edited together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I hope it's not that. I hope they do add enough to it, you know, where they might spend more time, you know, because the game kind of cuts really sharply between seasons, where it's like, okay, summer ends, and now they've arrived at Jackson. You know, we don't know how they got to Jackson from Philadelphia, but they did, right?
Sure.
And like so maybe the series could fill some of that in. You know what I mean?
And like that's the thing though, is like yeah, they definitely should fill it in, but it is such a tricky thing to do because if you branch out, people just hate it because they're like, this isn't
the game. That's not in the game. Yeah.
And with how many people already were losing their shit about the second game,
yeah,
I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a touchy subject.
Well, sucks.
But we'll find out.
Twitter troll who is an incel and all wrapped up in Joel as a personality. Like, Joel died to a woman with muscles. What is this game? Cuck fantasy? Oh my god, Jesus!
Cuck fantasy.
The woke of us, part 2. You know.
Oh my god.
Neil Cuckman. You know. They're calling. I've seen that one a lot on Twitter where they call Neil Druckmann Cuckman, and I'm like, wow,
Neil Cuckman.
Really feel proud of themselves for making that one. Oh man, but no, I did really. I got goosey pimples. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, especially with the clicker at the end.
The clicker at the end?
Yeah, just hearing it and then seeing just the silhouette. I was like, oh.
And then, the very end when it like fully shows the face in the flashlight. Like, oh my god. And, just a lot of cool, like to see it and go, oh, I know what part of the game that is.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Like when they're in the tunnel, when they're first leaving the city, and they have the QZ and they're hiding from the guards and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know what part of the game that is and all that, and it's nice. And seeing the towers leaned over graphically, I was like, oh wow,
yes,
like the visuals that looks impressive.
That looks really good.
I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised that HBO, home of the Game of Thrones, has decent visual effects behind it.
They got money. They got money.
Yeah, they got some shmoney, and apparently this is one of the more expensive HBO series. So. I'm cool with that, but I would like to. I think I could not see any more, and I'd be fine with it. Like I'm already gonna watch it. They don't have to sell me.
Yeah, you sold me.
But I'm in. That's all I got about that. Gas.
Gas. That's all it is. That's all I can. That's all you can say.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's hop in.
All right. Don't worry, darling. Performance. Worldwide gross worldwide box office for the weekend was 30.2 million, with 19.3 of that being domestic, and then it's got a budget of 35 million. So it's not there yet, but it's not a bad start to be, because again, if you double the budget for marketing, it's about halfway there already after one weekend. So I don't think it's going to do poorly. Reception. I really didn't have a vibe for what the reception was going to be here. So, Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score was 38%, and the audience score was 79%, so pretty divided there. I have a theory on that one. IMDb has it at a 6.3, and Metacritic has it at a 48. So there was kind of a consensus towards the negative. But the audience score, like I said, was 79%, and I do wonder if a bit of that is, like, Harry Styles stands, because they are a passionate breed,
Oh yeah, like Browns fans.
Yeah, they are dedicated.
They're dedicated, bro.
Yeah, get you a Browns fan. They are loyal. But So cast and crew here: Olivia Wilde obviously was the writer, director, and she played the role of Bunny. Florence Pugh was Alice. Gemma Chan plays Shelley. Harry Styles is Jack. Chris Pine is Frank. Nick Kroll is Dean. And Timothy Simons plays Dr. Collins. You got a synopsis?
I do. So, in the 1950s, Alice and Jack lived in the idealized community of Victory, an experimental company that houses to the men. Ooh, experimental company
Jeez.
town that houses the men
Red
who
leather,
work on a
yellow leather.
shut up, who work on a top secret project. While the husbands toil away, the wives get to enjoy the beauty, the luxury,
Ooh.
and their seemingly perfect paradise. However, when
Oh,
cracks
fuck.
in her what?
I didn't realize you were giving us the fucking War and Peace over here. It's a synopsis, gee. I'm fucking with you. Keep going. Keep going.
When cracks in her idyllic life begin to appear, exposing flashes of something sinister lurking below, Alice can't help but question exactly what she's doing in Victory.
There you go. A 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community begins to worry that this glamorous company could be hiding disturbing secrets. See how we said the same thing, you know?
I'm just trying to get more in depth, but whatever.
Alright, let's jump in then. Alright, non-spoiler plot thoughts. I'll let you start, because I really don't have a lot.
So
Or do you want me to start?
you start. I'm bad at that. I'm bad at starting.
Alright, so I thought it felt pretty predictable, honestly, until it wasn't, which we can kind of get more into in spoilers. There wasn't a lot of surprise to it for me. I thought it tried to convey the disorder of Alice's mind, where she doesn't know what she can trust, and she feels like she's kind of losing grasp on reality. It kind of conveyed that through some jumpy editing, and it didn't always land for me. Where I think their goal was maybe to make you uncomfortable almost, or unsteady maybe. But it wasn't to say uncut gems. The whole point is to make you uncomfortable. It does that successfully in a, I don't want to say enjoyable way, but in a way that's man, they were really good at that. This was more almost annoying, or I felt almost like a barrier for me in the movie.
Mm.
But I did like the atmosphere inside the community, where I was they really nail that. It's 75% utopia, 25% cult, you know?
Yeah.
But it's kind of coined as a thriller in every film website and things like that. That was the genre, was thriller. I didn't feel it very thrilling.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think I agree with you as much.
There was one scene in particular that I do remember going, "Oh no, this is creepy," but I can't talk about it until spoilers.
Mm-hmm. I thought, aesthetically, very nice. Who doesn't love seeing the 1950s stuff? And I felt like it had just, I don't know, I don't think it was an Oscar-winning movie, but I don't think it was the worst movie ever. It
Right.
was just something nice to kind of see, and playing it a little differently of the twist at the end, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Or the plot twist, I guess, in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But
is it a spoiler to say there's a twist? Because then people are looking for a twist.
no, there's twists in every movie. You there?
Yeah. I was.
Oh, word. No. Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. But yeah, I guess that plot twist there. But yeah, we'll get back into that. And I don't know, just add a solid pace to it, and I liked. Well, I don't know. Now you got me second guessing everything.
No. Say your opinion. This is your opinion.
No, I'm finding holes in my opinion, though. Where I'm like,
well, you can say it and we can work through them.
Yeah, it's you and me, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're gonna work out this kink. But I'd want to say, it had nice clues, but then it really didn't. And
yeah.
I even said it at while we were leaving. How it didn't. Let's burn through this because we need to get in spoilers.
Yeah.
This is therapy session now. I need to get this off my chest.
So chemistry and characters. Florence Pugh, I thought, was an excellent star of the show and does such a great job of conveying all aspects of her character.
Yeah.
All aspects. Oh, man.
You're a dog.
I did. One of my bullet points here just says, very horny movie.
Very.
It's a very horny movie. Even stuff that's not overtly sexual feels semi-sexual.
Very sexual.
At one point, it's in the trailer, so it's not a super spoiler, but Chris Pine uses the line "good girl" outside of a sexual context, but it still felt sexual.
Very sexual.
like intensely sexual. I was like, whoa. I feel uncomfortable knowing that there's a presumably retired couple a few seats up that are probably just hot to trot.
I know, they're fucking the Velcro in their shoes is crackling.
His pants that are way too high are also getting a bit tight, you know? But no, I thought Florence Pugh and Harry Styles had some very good romantic chemistry, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad.
I believe them as a young newlywed couple. Like I said, very horny movie. They like
I want to
don't
point
see
out
it with a
me.
don't see it with a parent.
No. When I fucking picked up my drink, and
Yes.
I made sure as when Colin was looking, and I was just very shakily
Shaking.
taking a drink. I guess
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to
like
cool
unzipping my vest, you know. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, all right. So full like this isn't again. It's in the trailers slightly. Within like 20 minutes of the movie starting, there's a approximately 45-second, which doesn't sound like a lot until it's on screen, cunnilingus scene that is very intense and very passionate, like knocking dinner off the table to get at it. And I was like, my god, Harry Styles is grasping both sides of the breakfast table, and I'm like, GZ Pete's. He is getting in there. And
so get him a hard hat.
Yeah,
he's hard at work.
Like you said, if somebody said no, they actually did it for real, you'd have been like, yeah, they did. I watched it.
Bought it. Yeah, I would have bought it.
Yeah, I saw that they did. And then, like, not even 10 minutes later, there's another very passionate fingering scene. And again, you could have told me it was real, and I'd have been like, yeah, well, obviously. And I was like, Jesus, I hope this isn't the whole movie, because I'm losing focus, you know?
I'm getting in heat.
I'm getting dizzy, yeah. I'm about to start squalling like a cat and backing it up at inanimate objects, you know? But Chris Pine plays the charismatic, like, cult of personality very well.
Mm.
Where, like, I mean, he's a charming guy anyhow, and, like, so I think it's a natural fit for him, but it was kind of nice to see him play a like, potentially sinister role, where you're like, all right, this guy is very, like, cult leader, you know? But I'll be damned if he isn't handsome and charming, you know?
Yeah. His
Like,
hair
he's got
slick back. It was looking good.
Yeah, slightly gray hair, kind of slicked back, tan. He's got the fucking his eyes. I'm like, man, this guy's got it all, you know?
This man fucks.
Yeah, this guy fucks. This guy fucks. Yeah. Between him and Harry Styles, I can only imagine. Like, I saw a fucking TikTok that it was this young lady who obviously works at a theater, and she goes, am I the only theater worker who had to scrub the seats after Don't Worry, Darling?
Just getting moist.
Just, soggy. So, Gemma Chan plays the wife of Frank. What did I say her name was? Shelley.
Shelley.
I thought she did a very good job at being, like, a powerful matriarch. You know,
yeah.
Like this, where I think she kind of plays the role of, like, you see, she's the mouthpiece almost. You see her.
Are we dipping into Frank. Spoilers?
Not yet.
All right.
Did we rate the bitch yet? No, we did not. We're in chemistry and characters.
All right, settle down. Settle down.
Easy. Nick Kroll, I thought was surprisingly serious in his role. Like, it's not a comedic role for him. And I thought he did a good job at it. It made me I'd like to see... First of all, I would have liked to have seen more of him in the movie. Yeah. And then I want to see him do more serious roles.
Yeah, he did really good at that. Yeah, and I was expecting a little bit of, like, his voice... doing some voices or something, but no, it was, just his voice throughout the entire thing. And there's a certain scene I'm thinking of where it gets real serious, and he's got a couple lines in it. Yeah, and I want to talk about that later, because
talking about at Frank's party at the house, or at the very end.
No, it could. I think it was
with the new guy.
Yeah.
And then my last point here is that Harry Styles wasn't bad or good. Like, I'd heard conflicting things. Yeah. Where, like, I'd heard either, like, Harry Styles was... Like, there were videos on TikTok of, like, people actually laughing out loud at him in the theater. And, like, there was nothing that he did that made me go... You know what I mean? But then, then they've got the opposite, which, again, Harry Styles has a very passionate fan base. And they all were like, he's the best actor I've ever seen. And, like, nothing that he did blew me away either. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really do think that like the chemistry that they had was very good, but from an acting standpoint, Florence Pugh carried that couple.
Oh, hard.
So with that in mind, it's time to rate it, and I'm conflicted on my rating. How does the rating system work?
So you can be overwhelmed, if you're thoroughly happy with the film, you enjoyed it. You can be underwhelmed, which is going to be the polar opposite, which means you were, not happy with the film. You had a lot of flaws you saw. Or you can be somewhere in between and be simply whelmed.
Yeah. What do you got?
I said this once, and I think I said it when when the movie was first over, and I think I'm going to try to stick with it. I'm going to say I think technically, if I had to put it on paper, I'd be overwhelmed, but like if I ever saw it again, it would switch to simply whelmed.
Okay.
Because like I saw it once, and I was like, you know what, it was good. It was all right. Wasn't the worst. It was good. It was good. But then again, that's where I go. Maybe that's just I'm simply whelmed. Where I'm just like, yeah, it's good. It was all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it is simply whelmed, but like it's on the higher tier of simply whelmed.
Right. I'm like a whole rung below you. I'm underwhelmed, teetering towards simply whelmed, but like from the trailers and stuff and the cast and all that, I had high expectations and just they were not met. Like the movie ended and I didn't want to give you any indication, I wanted to kind of hold it for here, but like my gut was like, all right, when the movie ends, I'm going to look at Chris and go, pass. But then I was like, no, I won't do that. I don't want to like tell him right off that I didn't like it. But like, yeah, my gut check instinct was like, no, that wasn't it.
I do wish there was more of an ending on it. I don't like where it left off because I feel like that's where a lot of plot holes are.
Yeah, they could have cut some earlier stuff to give us 30 minutes on the end.
Yeah. But so I'll say simply whelmed. That my final answer. Good answer, Steve.
Yeah. Good answer, Steve. Good answer. Yeah, my final answer is underwhelmed.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, I was underwhelmed by it. Spoilers, I've only got 2 bullet points. You want me to hit them and then we can kind of get into dirty details a little bit?
Yes.
My first bullet point is just full spoiler. It was all a simulation.
Yeah.
Like that was the twist at the end, was like they're in like the metaverse basically.
Which like
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tossed up about it.
There were potentially much more interesting answers to the question, like what's really going on here.
I feel like it would have been, I'm gonna say cooler, but it's not cool. But in the movie sense,
neato.
Maybe if it was truly, what if it was like a cult thing, where they just recruit people, and maybe they got some deal with the government that they were able just to have this land, out in the middle of nowhere, but they have to work for them and do like super sketchy things.
Yeah, because
I think that would have been cooler.
When Frank gives his speech at his house party, my first thought was like Rapture from BioShock. Of like they're almost like the free state of Frank. You know what I mean? They've sectioned themselves off. They're not governed by any body. It's them, right? And so I was like, oh, maybe something like that. And that's kind of neat, Or what's this sinister thing that they're working on underneath? And I don't know. I was just, there were a lot of. I didn't have any answer in my specifically, but it's a simulation wasn't a satisfying answer for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Though I did like the idea, like there was some stuff in there that I'm like, okay, maybe. Where like, so Harry Styles' character Jack and Alice, because they play the whole movie like it's 1950s, but then you find out that it's not. It's modern day, if not, near future. With some of that, technology of the metaverse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so apparently Alice is a surgeon, and you don't know what Jack did before, but it sounds like he gets fired, and he's kind of down on his luck and feeling like a loser, and he's convinced that Alice isn't happy being a surgeon, and you get the vibe that he's been like trolling online, and he somehow gets picked up in like a potentially misogynistic point of view, like. I could picture like some of the subreddits that get banned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're like, you know what? Life was so much better in the 1950s when the wife stayed home and did wife work and the man went to work and, he was met at home with a smile and nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody was happier then. And so it was like he was sold that. And so he creepily. So, we're going to sound all over the place to people that haven't seen the movie. So, in the final scenes, because the movie itself is very all over the place, editing-wise, I kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
As far as, like, it jumps around, there's not much of a chronology to it as far as, like, how many days the movie takes place over, who knows. And that is part of the idea, I think, with the editing, that I don't think was totally successful. But as they were kind of unveiling the twist there, that it is all a simulation, Alice gets a flash of, like, being drugged back into the house, potentially, or the apartment. And I wasn't certain if her and Jack were married in the real world, or if they were just dating.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it almost felt like maybe they'd broken up, and his last-ditch effort was to do this to her. Did you get that vibe, or did you feel like they were still together?
I thought that they were still together, but, like, it was... The relationship was probably getting rocky, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he never went back to work, and he's just been trolling. Because obviously a lot of time had passed, too, between when, like, you first see him listening to... Basically, he found Chris Pine as, like, a YouTube podcast. I almost got, like, Andrew Tate vibes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's literally what I was thinking.
Like, I think... so Olivia Wilde, there was a quote in an interview where she said Jordan Peterson was a big inspiration for Frank's character, which I could see as well. So he kind of falls in that same, like, falsely philosophical, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's basically trolling online is what's happening to Jack. And I did like his monitor setup where I was like, is she taking a jab at me? You know? But well, he's got a pretty good setup there. But then he's got much longer hair when you see him, like, kidnapping Alice. And so I do wonder, like, how much time had passed where it took him time to get initiated and things like that. And I mentioned to you, I like that in his, basically him registering for the Victory Project, he chooses to be British. And so now in the simulation, he's British. And I liked that he did such a poor American accent that they were like, fuck it, we'll just write in that he's British. Because Florence Pugh is also British and has a very solid American accent. And so it's just another jab at Harry Styles' inability to act. Or, you know, like, he's a musician who's trying trying to put his foot into acting, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I thought when we saw Harry Styles with long hair, because, like, right after that scene where we see him with long hair getting into, like, laying on the bed, puts the device on next to Florence Pugh. Or Alice.
Florence,
excuse me. Lawrence.
Yeah. Her brother.
Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence.
Florence Pugh.
Her
twin brother. Florence and Lawrence
Pugh. He made the comment about how he's like working so much just to make enough money to kind of keep things afloat.
Right.
So I thought it was him just not taking care of himself. We were just going to work, coming back, going to work, coming back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that time jump there of how long they've been in this simulation.
And there were some interesting, like, implications, I guess, of, like, because it was like, do you have a chosen wife? Was one of the questions.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what if some of these girls, like, the potential for a guy to be a stalker and not even know the person that he's, like, really know. Like, you know, he and Alice have a pre-existing relationship, obviously, in the real world. But, like, what if one of the neighbors is just, she's been abducted by this guy, you know, and made his wife in the Victory Project?
I'm curious on how that would work, just because they do make the note, like, you are to take care of your wife in this simulation, right, like, in the real world. Especially with it being a stalker, like, she's one day goes missing.
Right. So, yeah, how does that work? Or would that work? Yeah, but with the seemingly the odd clientele, the potential for that to be somebody that gets interested in this project would not be surprising, you know. And then you've got somebody like Olivia Wilde's character, Bunny, who was choosing to be there because she apparently lost her children in the room.
Yeah.
And has fake children in the simulation here. That, you know, that's what keeps her happy. And then they make the comment about the neighbor, what was her name, Peg, always being pregnant. So I wonder if that means that in the real world she's pregnant.
But then it's like, well, what happens when she gives birth in the real world?
Right.
Like, what's going to happen to that baby? Because obviously she's not going to be there.
Don't know, because I don't know. Like I said, I think it introduced something that added way more questions than it gave answers.
Yeah.
And because then there's also, so when it's all falling apart, so she goes back into, she starts having doubts and all that, and gets given over to the Victory Project company, and is sent through the treatment of basically, like, you got to make her submissive again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make her, go along with the simulation. But she has her memories still. She's kind of gotten her memories back about that she was a person outside of the Victory Project. And she has the line with Jack where, like, he's telling her, like, and she almost, I kind of believe her, she almost wants to stay, I thought, for a bit. Like, it is nice,
Right.
Or was she tricking him? I don't know. But he holds on to her, and she beats his head in with a fucking rocks glass, and then Bunny finds her and is basically like, you got to get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Because that's when we find out that if you die in the simulation, you die in real life, which I don't know how that works. But
they specified men.
Yeah, she says if the men die in the simulation, they die in the real world.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means for the women, or was that just a weird phrasing,
I'm not, I wasn't, that confused me a little bit.
Because I don't know why it would be any different for the women.
Because shit, what's her name? Margaret? No. Yeah, Margaret, when she kills herself.
Yeah. Did she die in the real world, or?
But they say that she's alive, but we never see her again.
Right, so I'm thinking those were just the lies that the Victory Project was telling the girls to keep them calm. I don't think that's anything you can take at face value. In fact, I think it's probably implying the exact opposite.
Yeah, she's dead. That could be.
Yeah. But so, Olivia
but it's
Wilde,
only mentioned like once.
Yeah.
And then, but anyways, continue.
So Bunny tells Alice, like, in the climax there, after she finds that she's killed Jack, is like, you got to get the fuck out of here, because in the real world, they'll come and find you and they'll kill you in the real world.
Yeah.
And so Alice is like racing. That's when you see in the trailer, like, the car chase across the open desert and all that. And she's trying to get to, like, the exit, right? And trying to get back to the real world. And literally the movie ends with you, like, it cuts to black when she, quote unquote, leaves. You don't see her get out necessarily.
But you hear her breathe.
You hear her inhale like she's waking up.
Yeah, like
and then it's just like, and then it just does like, don't worry, darling. And I'm like, no. I want to know what happens after that.
Yeah.
Like, do they come to get her? Does she have to go into hiding? Does she go to the police? There's so many what ifs, like, what's going on?
Because there's also,
Frank?
Shelly. Yeah, Shelly kills Frank.
Stabs Frank.
And then Shelly, like, says, like, it's my turn now. So, which makes me think, is she taking over on this thing? Right,
so is she saying it's her turn to run this thing? Or is she saying it's her turn to, like, to kill her husband to, like, break free?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And again, there were a lot of questions. It did. The ending raised a lot more questions than it did answers. And, like, I don't have anything during the movie itself that I want to talk about other than that. There's a scene when Alice first, like, she walks out into the desert and discovers headquarters, which is where you exit the simulation at. Yep. And she has all these different visions and shit, and then wakes up at home. And that scene, like, because it's kind of a very noisy and, like, disembodied scene with weird visuals and stuff. It's very disorienting. And then she just kind of wakes up in her bed in a dark bedroom, and it's very quiet. That was kind of eerie, I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this is kind of creepy. And she's kind of walking and trying to figure out what's going on. And then it just kind of slowly fades back into, oh no, Jack's just being a sweetheart. Like, he's in there making dinner and stuff like that. He's
cooking.
Yeah. And trying his best. And I kind of expected it to go full 1950s where he's like pissed at her for making him make his own dinner. But he's being a sweet husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Jack was a sweet guy until he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, in the real world, he's a fucking monster. But I don't know. It felt all over the place in a bad way for me. I don't want to see it again. And it was a major letdown.
Yeah. I will say that the things I wanted to point out.
Yeah. You talk about what you got. I don't have anything.
That scene with Nick Kroll.
Oh, yes.
With the
Frank's
new
party.
guy. Having like that super serious. Because he's like, I didn't really get to talk to the big guy that much. And he was like a
Frank,
little. Yeah, and Nick Kroll was just like, you'd be lucky to talk to him.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how fucking important he is?
Yeah,
you have no reason to talk to him.
Yeah, and that was like, oh fuck, like
shit. Things got heavy.
That,
like the guy apologized.
He's like, oh, sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
It felt very Colt, and it felt Colt quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's how it would probably happen, too, is some guy slightly questions him.
And did you notice that Frank kind of just teleports there? So,
what do you mean?
So you see a shot of Frank, like, watching from his balcony through, like, the slats.
Uh-huh.
And then Gemma Chan starts her speech, and then pans to the crowd, listening to her speech, and then it pans back, and he's just kind of leaning on the lamppost next to her. And I was like, when did he, like, you didn't see him walk down the stairs behind, when the fuck did he get there? And I was like, oh, is that supposed to be like a glitch in the simulation, maybe? But I think it's maybe just a weird editing thing.
I think it's
nobody was like,
editing thing.
Yeah, nobody was like, how the fuck did Frank get here? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Because I was thinking, that maybe that was oh yeah, that's weird that Frank just kind of showed up there and nobody noticed, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. That's all I got for you.
That's all I got.
I was pretty bummed out.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh well.
Florence Pugh was a star in it, and
she was.
The sex was hot. That's all I got. Chris, you gotta go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing I wanted to talk about was the one thing I was a little disappointed with is like those cutscenes that you'd mentioned, like those visions. They were like
disorienting images and stuff.
Yeah, they were kind of like
they're very visually interesting,
synchronized dancers.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But it was very like weirdly timed, and like the playing of it was like almost choppy. You gave it a little creepier look. And I thought that was going to come into play because Alice did ballet. She did dance. Like, that was one of the things. And then just nothing came out of that. And I was like, well, then what is it? Like, what are these visions she's having?
Yeah, and then it looks like those are potentially, like, the loading screen.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and that, yeah.
When you're logging into the simulation. And it's like, why is that the loading screen?
Right, yeah, why is it ballet?
I don't know.
But
Chris, you got a cryptid for me?
I think what you meant to say is, welcome back to Chris's Cryptid Corner. I'm your host, Chris. So this week, actually, I think I got a pretty good one for us. We'll be talking about now I got to read just a little bit, so do forgive me. But it's called the Jorogumo. Thank you. And this is, translating that from, because it's a Japanese cryptid, translates to an entangling bride, or alternatively a whore spider.
A what now?
A whore spider.
Word?
Like a brothel.
Yeah.
Which is not a good word, but that's just word for
right, yeah, that's the name. Yeah, I thought you might have said whore spider, or horse biter, like somebody who bites a horse. And I was like, what?
Duke boys are at it again!
Damn horse biter!
But so, the appearance, what it originated from, is in Japan, some spiders are known to possess amazing supernatural powers. One of these, Jorogumo, known as the Golden Orb Weaver, translated in English. It is the most well-known of its arachnid yokai, and found all over the Japanese archipelago.
Archipelago. Yep, you nailed it.
Oh my god!
String of violence.
Oh. Except for the northern island of Hokkaido,
probably.
Their body's average size, between 2 to 3 centimeters long, but they can grow up much larger. Some are massive enough to catch and eat small birds. That's a big fucking spider, dude, if they're catching birds. Renowned for their... Yeah, just consuming them, eating them. Renowned for their size, they're vividly and beautifully colored, and the large and strong web strings that they weave. They're famous for cruel destruction of the weak. So this whole thing starts off that it would be... Scroll down here. Yeah. So they would appear as skillful deceivers shape-shifting as a young, sexy, stunning, strong, beautiful women.
Hell yeah.
And they, would lure men, predominantly young, handsome men looking for love, and they'd kill them. I think we got some of them in America, dude. Like, shit.
You're gonna sound like you belong in
No, not the
Victory
subreddit. No, but she lures them into their home with promises of affection, and then they're never seen again. And then it just says that, from there they eat them, and that's it. And then they just back out on the prowl for part 2. But I mean, it's just the old hump and dump. But I mean, I don't know. It's just
but
something
in this case,
weird.
it's a dump because they shit them out.
That correct. And then they do still dump them and hump. Well, they
You
can
hump
hump them.
them. Yeah, do they hump them?
I imagine so. I can't see why they wouldn't. But yeah. But no, I just thought it was really goofy. But like, also I could see this being really scary.
Yeah, like it's like over
pictures
here we don't...
of it. Like pictures
well,
of like
so...
a woman spider, like super scary looking, eating men.
But then also being like a sexy young lady who also wants to fuck and eat.
It's like, praying mantises,
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta kind of, as long as you're not boring, you won't get your head eaten.
Yeah, stay interesting.
If you've ever eaten your partner's head during sex because you got boring, definitely send us an email. That's simpleworldmail@gmail.com. Yeah, please write in. We definitely want to hear that.
That is the kind of shit we want to That's some need to know type shit.
But yeah, so I don't know. I thought it was something goofy. I did grab another one since that one was kind of small. I grabbed another small one.
Yeah.
They're called wander lights. Wander lights are atmospheric ghosts, lights seen by travelers at night, often in swamps, but some reports also speaking of sightings in graveyards. It looks like a low, hovering orb of light, and it's known to recede when approached, leading the travelers from safe paths. And then here it is. Hold on. There are many other names for the wander lights, and one of them is Willow of the Wisps. And if you've ever seen fucking Brave,
yeah,
Willow of the Wisps, baby. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, So I saw that, and I just at first when it said swamp, I was like, it's probably just a fucking firefly, like.
Right. Yeah.
But then I heard Willow Wisps, and I was like, oh no. My first thought was Scotland.
Scotland, not my bitch Merida. You could change your fate, would ya?
That makes me think. I was like, I don't know if it's a ghost thing. I don't know. It's pretty cool. But I was talking about it earlier today. I want to do a Ouija board, but like, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but also I'm not the type of person to test that luck. Like, I'm not gonna test it.
You're not prepared to be wrong.
Right? Yeah. So I'd like to try a Ouija board, just not in my home. But I'll try it somewhere else.
Shit ready to eat.
Or exactly. But yeah, those are my cryptids. If you definitely have any suggestions, anything like that, definitely just shoot them in an email to us at simpleworldmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right.
But Colin, what have you been thinking about, baby?
So, I've been thinking about Andor and She-Hulk a bit. I think we need to. Yeah. I almost wonder if we need to start doing like our TV roundups as like a separate thing.
Hold on. Callback. Idea that just popped in my head. You remember our short podcast that we did?
Yeah,
it was like a half. Let's fucking do it for Andor. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip off my shirt. That was hot. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah, we did like a 10.5.
I know that was forever ago too.
Yeah.
Man,
it was episode 10.5. That was 30 weeks ago.
Oof.
Or sorry, 20 weeks ago. But so I don't know that I want to talk about Andor or She-Hulk, because I think we need to do, because even if we did a mini-sode, with Andor being 12 episodes long, I think we would potentially need to do like 2 mini-sodes. Like maybe we do one at the halfway point and the one at the finale.
Yeah.
And maybe we do one for She-Hulk, since it's only half-hour episodes when it wraps up here in a few weeks.
We just throw it on the end of the first episode with Andor.
Of Andor, yeah. And then Slime Rancher. So, I don't know if you ever heard of this game.
What'd you call me?
You Slime Rancher. Hold on. My fucking father is texting me. Fuck off, loser.
We're on important shit right now.
No, he's being sweet. It's an important life event for me today, and he was wishing me good with it. All right, sorry, I had to reply to him. Yeah. What a loser, caring for his son. All right, sorry, that's very unprofessional, but family comes first. No, so Slime Rancher is a video game that's about 4 to 5 years old, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's just a nice, relaxing video game. As far as I know, it's only on PC, but they could have ported it since then. But when I first played it, I downloaded it as an early access game when it first came out. And it's literally just, you're on an alien planet with a nice, like, almost painted art style, or like very cartoony art style. It's a first-person game.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
And you're literally farming these different types of critters that are all just balls of slime.
Yeah, and I never played it, but I remember seeing stuff about it.
Yeah, and it's super fun, and apparently by the end of it, so I didn't finish it or play it all the way through by the time it was fully released. I only played the early access version. But I remembered that it was pretty relaxing and fun and all that. But apparently it actually ended up with a story and things like that, and it was a very good game, and it was like you could beat the game, air quotes, right? Well, I saw that on early access Steam. It has a sequel, Slime Rancher 2, and it is apparently a continuation of Slime Rancher 1's story with like the same character and stuff, going to a different planet potentially, or maybe a different area of that same planet. But so it was like, oh shit, Slime Rancher. So I reinstalled it and I started playing it yesterday. Shit's still fun, bub. And like, it's a good relaxing. It's kind of like a Stardew Valley where it's, yeah, this is chill. I like this. Like this is for me. And you can still like lose yourself in it where you're like, yeah, this doesn't need to be this fun. But so yeah, you gotta give it a little looky loo. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on with the sequel being out on early access. Let me pull up a price point for you and let you know. The Slime Rancher here. Store page. It is $19.99.
$19.99. That's highway
That's
fucking
what I
robbery.
said.
You can kiss my ass for that.
Outrageous. Yeah. But what about you, bub? What you been thinking about?
Honestly, I'm off work today and tomorrow, and like last week on my days off, honestly, I catched up on She-Hulk because I only saw the first episode.
Did you catch up, or did you get caught up?
What did I say?
Catched.
Excuse me. I caught up on She-Hulk, except for the last episode, episode 6, I suppose. But I plan on watching that tomorrow, and then watching Andor. Still trying to figure out the shit with my Oculus. Did I talk about it on here?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, so I just gotta send it out, but I don't know. I gotta find a box, and that just threw me.
They're not sending you a box to send it back in.
No, I misread it. So I thought that they were gonna send me 2 boxes. One of them gonna have my new one, and they just said put the old one in there and send it back. They said, no, you got to send yours, and as soon as we see it's in transit, we'll send you yours.
Right, yeah, they don't want you to end up with 2
fully
functioning oculi.
Right, and so if it's at a point where, if they get it and it's wrong, or if it's, not the right one, that they can pull it and halt the shipment.
Right.
So yeah, I just got to find a box, but the thing is, the Oculus is, in a weird shape where it's kind of big, but kind of not. So, I don't know, maybe...
Are they going to pay for the shipping?
They gave me the label and everything like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's...
Yeah, so I just got to print it off and then stick it on. And honestly, I think I might be able to get away with it at work. So I just might fucking... Because I still have the cover for it, everything like that. So I just might slide the cover on it, tape it up a couple times, slap it on, and send it out. Sorry, dude. I don't have any fucking boxes. This thing's big enough.
I bet Morgan could get you a box from work.
Ask.
What'd you say?
I said I'll have to ask.
I thought you said that sounds like a task because you kind of broke up.
It sounds like a task. But I mean, other than that, man, I've just been working a whole bunch. Like I said, I started Cyberpunk. I'll probably keep playing it. But
Yeah, I need to get back into Valhalla.
I'll tell you what, though. I've been
Tell me.
fucking up Dead by Daylight with a couple of my buddies because one of them moved out of country.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to kind of stay in touch because it's different time, like way different time zones.
Yeah.
But we found like this golden time zone where it's like super early for us. But I mean, it's like mid-afternoon for him. So like we'll all be like, all right, well, let's just get up early that day, and we can play all morning before we got to go out and do shit. And so that still leaves us the whole entire day, and he's fine.
You guys should maybe look into trading off.
Trading.
Selfish prick has to wake up early.
That's true.
He knows who I am. Does he listen to this?
I believe he does.
You know who you are, and you know me. That's fucking rude of you to make your friends wake up early every day just to talk to you.
Worthless piece of shit.
Phone works both ways, bud.
But I mean, really, I've been fucking it up on Dead by Daylight. And just grinding the hell out of that game. We've been playing Apex again, and I'm still very bad at it. I don't know. I'm not good at that game, and I can't get good at it for whatever reason.
I play with my father, and Dad's like he doesn't want to hurt your feelings. He's like, I remember how bad. There's also times where it's painful to watch. Like it is tough.
But the thing is like sometimes with the group of friends I play Dead by Daylight with, we'll play like Fortnite, and again like I'd say sometimes I'm better. Like I'll land a couple good shots at Fortnite and I'll get a couple kills and stuff like that. I think I'm just not good with Battle Royale.
You think that's the?
Because I think like Team Deathmatch, like I'll play like Chivalry 2. I'm pretty good at that game. Like I can get a good streak. Now, granted, that's a very hard game. Like typically you get like a kill and then you die, right? Or
right.
But I can get a good, nice little kill streak going.
So maybe it's an aiming thing.
I don't know, because like I'm good at.
It's predominantly.
Because I'm good at like aiming
combat.
Well, I'm good at like Cyberpunk. I was good at. I wasn't awful at The Last of Us. I'd say
also in Cyberpunk, you're playing against computers.
Right, but I'll set it. I'm not like I don't have it on easy. I think I have it set on normal, so like it still gives me somewhat of a challenge.
Right,
it's normal challenge. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. I just have to get good, I guess. Maybe I'll start grinding on it.
I did just see something come across that I forgot to talk about for news. So two things. First thing, real quick. I don't have any details put up in front of me to excuse the bare bones and the bare bonedness of the news on these ones. But Keanu Reeves is back for a sequel to Constantine.
Oh.
And then James Earl Jones is 91, and he signed over his voice rights to Darth Vader. He basically retired from the voice acting, and basically was like, and like just gave the rights to his voice specifically as Darth Vader to Disney. And it was kind of, I thought it was interesting, the wording on it. I remember reading it basically specified AI or voice actor. So whether they wanted to use just an AI generated voice, because I believe that in Kenobi it was a combination of AI and Hayden Christensen's voice to give us the Darth
Especially
Vader.
with that broken mask scene.
Yeah, where it's definitely supposed to be both of their voices. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I mean, he's 91. He's not going to,
That's true. That's sad to see because
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't like death. Still scares me.
Yeah,
getting old scares me. But it also doesn't. I don't know. It's a back and forth kind of game.
We'll talk about this in therapy this week. So again, we want to thank you guys so much for your attention and support. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a great review, tell your friends about it, share us on social media. Obviously, like I always say, word of mouth is a huge helper. If you're new to listening or you've been listening but you've just never taken the time, if you're listening on like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, make sure that you like it, follow it, whatever the phrasing is. Subscribe. That way you get notifications when we post these episodes, and you can be a part of the elite group that listens in the early hours of the Wednesday morning. The church, baby. You can be a part of the flock. Yeah.
The good word. Have you heard the good word?
Have you heard the word? It's the Wednesday word with Simply Whelmed.
That's right.
But no, again, if you're new, we welcome you, and please come back next week. And if you've been here, we appreciate that you came back this week.
Absolutely.
Chris, if the people wanted to get in touch, let's give us some feedback. Tell us we're wrong dissing on Harry Styles. Give us death threats. How would they do that?
Yeah, you can always do that. You can get in touch with our Facebook, Instagram, or our YouTube at Simply Whelmed Podcast. And then, of course, you can always reach out to our Twitter handle, which is whelmed_simply. And as always, we love getting your emails at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com.
Yeah, the Gmail's been a little dry lately. I'd like to start reading some more out, but haven't been getting a ton of stuff in. So please send in your emails. Yeah, I would love to have a little bit more back and forth with people. Next week we might have to check out
any cryptids. I was gonna say if you have any cryptids, love advice. I am a love doctor. I am an ordained minister, so I feel like
I am also.
So we could give you ordained minister advice.
No. We could just officiate your wedding.
Oh my god.
By the power invested in us.
I swear to God, I'd pull up in a tuxedo t-shirt, plastered.
Just shit-faced.
That's the Simply Whelmed experience. But I'll do good enough job where they go, it wasn't the worst, but
it was simply whelming.
Yeah, it's simply whelming.
But now, that's not bad. I think that's a potential avenue that we should explore. Next week we might have to check out. Yeah, it's our you got always on the grind. It's our hustle. It's a side hustle. Next week I think we might have to check out. Just trying to think of stuff that like I want to go do movies but there's not much coming out. Like I was looking, what comes out in the not much. Like we are in a dry spell.
We can bite the bullet on the late train, no pun intended, and go see Bullet Train.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
Because I guess because neither of us are looking forward to it. That's the whole purpose. Is like, what if our socks are blown off?
Yeah, but I don't like what if we don't like it? And then I was like, well, we went to the movie.
And then we come back and dog on it. We went and saw Morbius, and we both knew we were gonna hate it, and we did hate it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that last week or the week prior. So that's on Netflix now. And Morgan was like, I got it. Because Morgan was supposed to go with us and then bitched out at the last minute. And so, first of all, wasted money on a ticket to a bad movie. And then had to just go through the ordeal that is Morbius. And then she was like, I got it. I heard how bad you guys said it was. I kind of want to watch. She got halfway through it and was like, we can turn this dog shit off. I don't want to watch it anymore. It's bad. I believe you. And I'm like, I told you. We didn't even get to see fucking whatever's got Milo dancing shirtless. We got to when he escapes jail and she was like, this is fucking dog ass.
You're not gonna like me when I'm hungry.
Yeah. She didn't laugh at that, but because I was like, hold on, this is it right here. And he said it, and she just kind of looked over at me and was like, what? And I was like, all right. We thought it was funny.
Yeah. It's so bad.
It's not good.
So corny.
It's not good, I'll tell you that. I fell asleep.
Yeah, watching it?
Yeah, on Netflix. Yeah, I put it on for her, fell asleep, and woke up to him escaping jail. And she was like, yeah, you can turn this shit off. Because I had the remotes. So she was kind of stuck in prison, I woke up and she's like, oh, thank God, turn it off.
Please turn it off.
But, yeah. I don't know. I think that's the end of the show, Chris. So everybody, bye.
Bye.
I didn't like Morbius. I didn't like Don't Worry, Darling. And I don't know that I want to go see a movie I'm not going to like. And I don't like not liking.
That's the gamble, baby. That's the gamble of our podcast. We shouldn't go strictly, criticize movies and just see the movies that we like.
We have
to go see movies we don't like. Talk about
this
how
podcast's over.